Welcome, everybody. I'm Layne LaVanway, and you know what time it is. So sit back, relax, and let's talk about The Interview. Okay, so this is a movie starring Seth Rogen and James Franco. It's also directed by Evan Goldberg and Seth Rogen as well, and both of them helped to write it and create the story. Now, that team also directed This Is the End, that had James Franco in it. I enjoyed that movie very much. Did I enjoy this movie? Well, you'll just have to wait and find out. Of course, The Interview has a lot of controversy around it. Sony is deciding not to release it because they were getting threats. They got hacked, and then they got threats from Korea that this is an act of war, and we're not going to stand. And so they decided, a lot of theaters decided, we're not going to show this movie. And so Sony said, well, we're not going to put it out. But I saw it because the movie's been released on demand. It's on like Google Plus, on YouTube Movies. So I decided to rent it from YouTube Movies for only $5.99. I felt it's not like it's going to be some giant epic movie that's one of those that must be seen in theaters. It's getting released in very few select theaters around the country as well. And I looked, and it is not coming out here in my hometown. So I went for it, decided to watch it, and this is what I thought. They hate us because they ain't us. Okay, so putting all the controversy aside, what do I think of the movie just as a comedy? It's an R-rated comedy. And for the most part, I really enjoyed it. This was quite a funny movie. James Franco gets to play Dave Skylark, this really sort of cheesy, ignorant, stupid host of his own television show. Skylark Tonight, and he interviews celebrities and sort of tries to get down the nitty-gritty of whatever they want to reveal about themselves. It's not hard-hitting news, it's fluff pieces about celebrity news and gossip, and the movie really sort of makes fun of that aspect a bit about what we want to see in our media. They get all excited because there's pictures of what looks like Matthew McConaughey having sexual relationships with a goat, and it's very exciting for them. We gotta get that now, that's amazing, kind of a thing. And so there's a little bit of poking fun at the American culture and the type of media we want to consume, because we want to consume it, the type, of course, of media that those companies are trying to put out. Now, Seth Rogen's character is his producer. He's been his producer for 10 years, and he's sort of the straight man, I guess. He has a lot of funny stuff, but he certainly is more of a normal guy, whereas James Franco's character is just insane and nuts and goofy, and there's sort of this balance. They balance each other out, and it sets up for a lot of humor. I was laughing quite a bit, actually, about the whole first half of the movie. There's a lot of potty humor type things, fart jokes or butt jokes or things like that, but I don't mind that at all if it's done in a funny manner, I guess. Then I enjoy that stuff, and I was laughing right along with it. Now, it's no surprise that there's sort of the CIA element in the previews, where they're going to get an interview with Kim Jong-un, and so the CIA wants them to assassinate him while they're there. And I found a lot of them training to be funny, even though some of that's in the previews, and you can get some of that. I was laughing along, and then they go to Korea, and you're seeing what's happening there, and you get to see Dave Skylark befriending Kim Jong-un, and I was laughing not as much during that, but there were certainly some funny moments, and then you get into that just maybe after the halfway point where it maybe took a slightly more serious turn, and it just wasn't quite as funny. My laugh count dropped considerably. I was still laughing, but not as much. And then I think even all the way through to the end. Again, there were some funny moments and some definite WTF moments, sort of, as you moved along to that second half and getting near the end. That sort of was either I was just like, oh, what just happened? There was definitely one moment near the end of the movie that I'm watching it on my computer screen, and I just leaned forward. I was like, what? It shocked me that it happened. And there were still moments that made me laugh. It was just less. So I enjoyed the movie. I don't think it has to be seen on the big screen, which you probably wouldn't be able to see on the big screen anyway. But if you are interested in seeing this movie, you should definitely go to YouTube Movies and rent it, or go to the Google Plus. I didn't check out Google Plus, but wherever on Google Plus full movies are shown that you pay for, and I don't know if it might be on demand on other cable providers as well. There's even a nice little bit of a romantic side plot in the movie that I enjoyed. It seemed to fit well for the humor of the movie and to show that there's all this talk because this movie is about assassinating a North Korean, the leader, and so it's controversial and it's awful. But they are showing that it's not like this North Korea in of itself is all bad and they're all awful people. You get to see Seth Rogen's character have sort of a romantic subplot with a North Korean female, and I enjoyed that. Randall Park is the actor who played Kim Jong-un, and I really liked him. He was very funny. I've never seen him before. I looked him up. He's done things I haven't seen. He was in Veep, which I haven't watched. He's in The Mindy Project, which I also haven't watched. So he was a fresh face to me. I looked over his IMDb and hadn't really seen anything he'd been in, but I really enjoyed him in the part. It does seem that in the second half of the movie, the CIA element does seem to just sort of get forgotten about. There's a lot of setup with the CIA and the training, and then when they get to Korea, the CIA is talking to them a lot. They're talking back to the actress. Lizzie Kaplan's the actress who plays sort of the head of the CIA, the division that there is with them, and she's sort of a big part of that. But in the second half of the movie, as things, of course, take turns and twists, and they're trying to figure out how they're going to do this, and then suddenly they don't ever communicate with them, and they don't show back up sort of until near the end, when everything, like the conclusion of the movie and the big climax is happening, and then suddenly we get to see, oh yeah, those CIA is still paying attention to what's happening and has a stake in this. So it just felt a little like they got forgotten about. Overall, I'm going to give this movie a B. It made me laugh. I enjoyed it. It wasn't the best comedy of the year, the greatest comedy I've ever seen, but it was certainly an enjoyable comedy. It's an R-rated comedy, and those can go either way, generally. Well, I guess most movies can go either way, but that raunchy humor can definitely bomb, and this one didn't, for the most part. It made me laugh. Those two are a good team. James Franco and Seth Rogen play well off each other, and James Franco is delightfully dopey and goofy in this. It's just this weird Skylark character who's just, it just seems almost childlike in his view on things, but of course, like this college frat boy style of implementing ideas and in manner of speech. So I would definitely recommend seeing it if you get a chance and you want to pay for it on YouTube. I don't know what it's going to be doing in DVDs or how that's going to work, but it is available now on the internet without any kind of torrenting, that you can pay for it and see it and support the movie if you're so inclined, and I definitely would. If you guys like the video, make sure you hit the like button down below and let me know that you love me. And if you want, you can subscribe. Yeah, that way you know all the content that's coming out. That's right, all the reviews and anything else of goodness that I've got. I've got a brand new show that airs every Friday called Psych Flicks. It's only been on for a couple of weeks now. And it's where we take each week, we look at a new or popular movie, and we analyze it from a psychological standpoint and worm our way into the mind of one of the characters inside that story and try to figure out what makes them tick, and so that way you can better understand the characters you've come to like or hate. I've got some new ideas from a couple other new shows, plus there's going to be more reviews, and you don't want to miss it. So make sure you stay tuned. Until next time, watch more movies.